safe. Before you cross me, look both ways. Leaving the scene with no trace. None in my league. You out of place. I'm not at the top. I'm outer space. Can't eat with us. We're out of place. I'm doing fine. I'm feeling great. You're not my fan. You can't relate. Straight talk going state to state.
Hey guys, what's going on? It's your host, your boy George Macrae, back in the Straight Talk studios. The snow is hopefully melting. We're getting warmer. Things are happening. And there's no better way to talk warmer weather than to sit down back in the studios after the phone interview we did 2 years ago. The one and only Hotstepper, Macrae Martin. Here come the
What up,
Hotstepper.
it's your boy.
Name is the officer. Dude, I don't know the words. What's going on, brother? How are you?
I'm doing good, man. I mean, yeah, it's been two and a half years. I think it's like summer of 2019 or something like that. It's been a long time, so I'm happy to be back on the show.
Absolutely, and there's been a lot of things going on. First off, when we set this interview up, you told me you're going to wear the hat that you started wearing first, not Jack Swagger's hat. Where's that hat?
Oh, okay. I have the hat. It's up there. It's just drying because I actually just took it out the wash.
Okay,
but I tried it on with the headphones and it looks really weird.
All right.
So
if anybody doesn't know, we're talking about, Jack Swagger's been rocking that purple bucket hat, but Macrae Martin, he's been rocking it for years before. Jack Swagger just came in and swooped his gimmick. How do you feel that he swooped it, man? He swooped it.
You know what? I can't be mad because, he does pull off the bucket hat well. And the kind of scary thing is that I saw a picture of him on the cruise.
Okay.
It's like all of JAS, they took a picture together. And with the sunglasses, the big smile, and the beard, I thought it was me. Legit, like I kid you not, it's like, what am I doing in that photo? And then I'm like, wait a minute, no, that's Jack Swagger. So I mean, or Jake Hager now, but I think the fact that happened, I was like, okay, I can't be mad at it anymore. If anything, he's given the bucket hat a larger audience. And we need that. We need to bring back the bucket hat. It's been like stereotyped into like, oh, it's the fisherman or like, the old guy golf hat. Like, no, like you look back, Run DMC, they were rocking the bucket hats. It was a cool thing. We got to bring it back.
We do. We have to bring it back. And do you remember for a brief period where LL Cool J brought it back, but it was all like furry? It was the furry bucket hat.
Yeah, I think. Wait, was it Finn Balor that rocked? Like, was it his? He had a bucket hat, and there was a picture of Finn Balor. I don't know if it was on TV or at a live event, but he like wore like this purple fuzzy jacket and a purple fuzzy bucket hat. So I'm thinking, yeah, you know what? We need the fuzzy bucket hat too.
The fuzzy bucket hat needs to make a stronger comeback than the bucket hat.
I'm gonna look into that. I'm gonna look to getting a fuzzy bucket hat. It's gonna be hot as hell, but I mean, I'll take it. I'll deal with it.
Yeah, but you'll only be wearing it for the 30 seconds, 35 seconds that you're walking out to the ring.
Oh no, I'm gonna wrestle. I'm gonna wrestle in it now.
Wow,
I'm done. I'm done.
Wow, so you're gonna have like a bonnet strap to keep it on your head and like tie it up and stuff. Like Velcro? Are you gonna Velcro it up a little bit here? That'll be amazing.
No, I'll do shoestring. I'll do shoestring.
Oh my god, keep it old school. I love it. I love it. Yeah, I love it.
When I get fired up, I just pull the string. It's like, I'm angry. Let's go.
That's amazing. The bucket hat gets him hulked up. I'm bucket hatting up, baby.
Oh, it's like, you want to fight? Bucket. Let's bring it.
Oh my god. So we got to talk a lot about the last 2 years. Things have happened. Obviously, COVID. We're not going to really get into much of that, but it slowed a lot of things down for everybody. But you've been gaining a lot of traction. You've been coming around. You've been kicking doors down. You've been taking names. You've been showing people exactly what the Hotstepper is about.
I know that I do have a strong fan base out in the Toronto and the GTA area, but I'm sure there's going to be people who have never seen me wrestle, who have never seen Junior wrestle. And so it's going to be really cool to have new eyes on us and open them up to a new world of fresh air.
Absolutely. I love fresh air. Fresh air is like rarefied air. I think you guys at Richard Holiday, when he gets back in the ring, I think you guys should make a staple. Fresh, rarefied air. I freaking love it. I love it. I mean, Richard Holiday, he could be like the top of the pyramid, and then there's you two guys. And I mean, you're all just breathing this fresh, rarefied air. MLW, that right there is money, baby. You got to get all over this. You got to get all over this.
We're MLW. Court Bauer, you're watching.
I know you
Make it
watch.
happen.
I know you watch because there's a lot of times where you've retweeted MLW Rewind. That's a side podcast that we do. So I know you
That's
watch
true.
it.
Yes, you do have MLW Rewind. Aha.
He knows. He
Okay.
knows.
He knows.
So let's talk about Macrae Martin and the evolution of the Hotstepper. I hadn't seen you perform in a couple of years because of logistical issues with myself, COVID, all those kinds of things slowed everything down. But I saw you in January at the Go Hard Pro Show, and you absolutely lit it up. You came out entertaining as fuck. The best part was you came out with Junior. He had his match, and then right after his match was your match. And you were like, wait a minute, I got to go all the way back to the entrance and I got to do it again. Okay, I'm going to do it. And you did it, and it was freaking incredible. And you lit it up. It's always great seeing you. But the evolution and the confidence, like before, when I first seen you, you had your swagger. You're all about it. First time I actually saw you was a chin lock. You came out in that battle royal rumble thing that they had going on. It was great to see you there, and then to see the evolution of where you are now. I think like you found yourself, if that makes sense. I think you evolutionized, if that's a word. You evolved. There we go. You evolved to that character that we see now, which is an incredible character with a lot of skill, a lot of swagger. And the great thing is that you can play both sides with that character. You can come out and be the heel Hotstepper. You can be the face Hotstepper, but it works. So talk to me about, I guess, the transitional period of really getting comfortable in your own skin of this character and how you decided that you finally found what you were looking for and this is it. I'm running with it.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what you described. You know, my character is very versatile in terms of heel, face, comedic, serious. I can go in many different directions, and I honestly have to thank. I think I have to thank COVID for that. It gave me reason to take a step back because towards the towards the end of the pre-pandemic era of wrestling, I was kind of getting pigeonholed into a comedic role, and I love comedy wrestling, but it's not what originally attracted me to wrestling. It's the physical combat, the back and forth, the storytelling. That's what always attracted me to pro wrestling, and that's the pro wrestling that I wanted to do. And I felt like there was an imbalance. I was doing way more comedy than I was doing serious, and so having taken a step back because of COVID, getting to analyze things like, okay, what do I need to change? Well, first off, I needed to get in better shape, which I did. I needed to get actual gear because as much as the like track suits helped me stand out at the beginning, now they were kind of dragging me back because again, wrestling is very cosmetic, it's very visual, and so if they just see this huge, colorful tracksuit, they immediately think comedy. So I kind of wanted to alter that a bit, and so then when we came back, I was in better shape. I had gear. I had been training at the Keep like a madman just because I wanted to look better, feel better, perform better in every aspect. And it paid off in 2021, even though we only had like a 4 month period really of wrestling. I had like over 30 shows in the US, in Quebec and Ontario. And then 2022, I skyrocketed just because I really felt like, all right, I know what I want the Hotstepper character to be. I know where to implement comedy. I know where to implement serious, and just I got better and so it led to more opportunities where I could have those high caliber matches. And then when Junior and I started tagging, we started branching out to tag team divisions, and so it just 2022 and even just the beginning of 2023 has been exponential in terms of growth as a wrestler, performer, and exposure. And yeah, so I have to thank COVID as much as it was a difficult time for myself and for you and for a lot of other people. It really gave me that moment of reflection to come back and reach that next level I've been looking for.
Absolutely. And I think you actually hit it right there with what you said. You reached for that brass ring, you grab that level, and the evolution is key. And I love everything about you, but the best part about it was seeing this kid that I had seen with so much talent and potential, and had seen him at the Go Hard Pro show. And I'm like, man, he's local. And the fact that you remembered me, that freaking touched me. Because when you and Junior both saw me, you guys were like, hey, George. And I was like, this is the coolest part about it. It's about making these connections and making these memories. That I still have your autograph hanging up on my wall over here. You can't see it because the basement is flooded, but I have it hanging over there. It's one of my favorite autographs. It's the autograph with you upside down, like the long elongated one.
Oh yeah, the Nike pose. I love that. I love that picture. And also I remember when I remember you posting the picture of me signing an autograph, and after that, I was practicing my autographs. Like, man, that was super messy. I gotta make it look more professional. So I've got my autographs got better.
All right, then I have to get an updated autograph to make sure that it like that one will go in the archives. Maybe we'll put
There
that
you
one in
go.
the
Yeah.
archives. We'll have to get the updated one. Now let's talk about also your other many affiliations. One being obviously your Quebec runs, which we'll get into that for a little bit. But I want to talk Seaway Valley. Seaway Valley has been a staple up in the Cornwall and Sarnia area. It is phenomenal. If you get a chance to go out there, it is one hell of a show. From what I've seen, I myself have not made the trip out, but I do know there are plans to have a big super show. And you are one of the fixtures over at Seaway Valley, to the point that at your next show, I believe, it's probably happening after this, you are taking on one of the inaugural winners of Wrestling Academy. You're taking on Chris Dillon, and that's a big freaking deal, man. And he even said it in his post. I am going to be taking on one of the staples of this promotion. I'm going to be taking on one of the pillars. When you hear that from a talent like Chris Dillon calling you a pillar, that's got to be humbling, but at the same time, you have to keep earning the fact that you're a pillar of a promotion. Would you not agree with that?
Yeah, it's very humbling, like 100%. And, going off of that, when Al gave me the call that it was going to be me facing Dylan Davis for the vacant championship, I was pleasantly surprised. I couldn't believe it, just because, there are a lot of great talents at Seaway Valley, and the fact that management sees me as someone who could be their champions, who could be the face of the company, really means a lot. And it really validates a lot of the hard work that I put in inside and outside of the ring to better my craft. And now it's my job to prove them right, that they made the right decision. And, the fact that Buddy had said that, I always call him Buddy because his Instagram is Buddy Wrestles. But the fact that Davis had called me one of the pillars and one of the staples definitely means a lot. But, he also said that he doesn't dance. And so I just wanted to make sure that when he says that, he doesn't just see me as a dancer. He sees me as a legit competitor, because I've done some of my best work at Seaway Valley, including with Aiden Prince winning match of the year last year. And, so everyone who has stepped in the ring with me, they have this immediate impression like, oh, he's the dancing kid. And, they soon learn after, when that bell rings, they're like, okay, no, the Hotstepper is serious business. And so I hope that that's the mindset that Davis is going into this match with, is that he knows that I want that title because it's a very nice looking title.
It is.
I'm
It actually
coming
is
for-
one
I'm-
of the nicer straps in the independents. It is. I
I agree.
I enjoy the look of that belt as well.
So he better know that I'm coming for that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And of course, you know what? You're holding it for the injured Aiden Prince, who will be back. And when he gets back, he automatically gets a title shot. He does. So whether you're holding that strap or not, I mean, we could be looking at Macrae versus Aiden part 2. We could be looking at another match of the year candidate. We could be looking at the new Seaway Valley champion. I don't know much about Dylan Davis, or Chris Dillon as I know him, because we follow each other on Facebook. That's right.
Yep.
I kayfabed his real name. Oh shit, I'm in trouble.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. Yeah. But seriously,
911. He broke kayfabe.
it's Madison Square Garden all over again.
Yeah,
over again. But the fact is that what I do know about him is he's a fantastic talent, a very, very good wrestler, very crafty. And I mean, he got a 3-month scholarship over at the Nightmare Factory. So he got to train with some of the best of the best. QT Marshall, Billy Gunn, Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes, and that's when Cody Rhodes was injured. So it was a blessing and a curse, because they got a lot more time with Cody than they would have had he been on the road. So that's a huge thing for them. And now you're talking about Dylan Davis 2.0. You're talking about a different version, a version that you may have not wrestled with in the Maritime. And this guy made the big jump. After coming back from Atlanta, from the Nightmare Factory, he moved here. He moved to Ontario. So now he wants to make waves here. But guess what? He's at the bottom of the list over here. He has to work his way. And I'm not saying it's because he's not known. He is known, but he has to earn every opportunity given to him. And right off the gate, Seaway Valley's like, all right, kid, you want to come to Ontario? You want to rep with us? You want to fight with us? Cool. Let's put you up against the best we have in terms of next gen champions. And that's you. So he better be wise to the fact that, I've seen Macrae Martin when he's happy to be there, but that Macrae Martin is no longer here. That Hotstepper, that was version 1.0. We're talking about version 2.0, which is different. Yeah, I'm happy to be here, but when that bell rings, I'm going to knock your teeth down your throat, and I'm going to smile while doing it. That's the Macrae Martin I know now, and that's the Macrae Martin I love. And I think that's what COVID helped you with too. was to channel that aggression. So you're no
Oh
longer
yeah,
happy to be here. You're happy to beat the crap out of anyone that's standing in front of you. And I think that
exactly.
that adds another layer. So let's talk about that. Channeling that
Hmm.
aggression to where you can unload it at the right moment. How do you do that?
Hmm.
How do you keep it all in until the bell rings and then you're like, now I'm just ready. I'm aiming for it now.
You know, that's a good question. I think throughout my life, you know, I'm a very calm person. I'm a very easygoing person, and you know, I'm also very passive. So, like, you know, in with work, you know, I'm very stress free. You know, I'm very just happy to be there. I'm trying to make people laugh. I'm trying to create a good vibe around everyone. And I do see things that frustrate me, and there are things that make me angry.
Mhm.
And so, for me, it's I channel those. I kind of keep those closed off. And then when I'm in the ring, when I know I need that aggression, when I need to take it seriously, when I need to make that next step, that's where it comes out. And so like I'm just channeling all that in here. And then, you know, because you know, with wrestling, I mean, this is what I want to make a career. This is the livelihood that I want to live. And so I know that, you know, it's not going to be all sunshine and rainbows. And I have to take it seriously. I have to want to get to that next step. And so I just let it out. I just keep everything bottled in till that bell rings. And you know, Buddy Davis, oh my goodness. Dylan Davis, he's gonna feel it. See, like there we go. I'm very relaxed, very happy. But you know, when that bell rings, that's when the fire, that's when the aggression, that's when I'm ready to win and I want to take that next step. That's where you'll see it.
Absolutely. And I think March may be a big month for you. You've got a chance at
Oh,
moving forward in that tag team tournament at Destiny as we build towards their August event. And then we have a chance to, capture the interim championship for Seaway Valley. I mean, you look at March, and March could be obtaining gold and moving forward to another set of gold belts. Because I mean, the Destiny tag titles, they're nice looking belts as well. They're
they are
very,
very
very
nice.
nice looking belts.
Mm-hmm.
And who wouldn't want to rock those bad boys over their shoulder? You know what I mean?
100%. I mean, I'll take any belts, but I want to take all the belts.
That's
But you brought up a good point. March is a busy month. It's funny because I after the Seaway show, I mean, this will have be aired after, but the Seaway show, the next day I fly to the UK. I'm
wow.
there in the UK for 2 weeks. The the day after I get back, Junior and I are taking on Jordan Oliver and Nick Wayne at IWS versus GCW.
Wow.
Then the day after that, we're in that tag tournament at Destiny. And then later on in the month, we're wrestling TDT at Smash, you know, and it's just March is going to be a crazy month. April's going to be a crazy month too. I have some US bookings. But yeah, like I was saying earlier, like 2023 has really been the year of the Hotstepper so far, and it's going to continue that way, I feel.
I absolutely feel it too, man. I feel the vibe of it, and I gotta say, I like I said, the evolution impresses me. It's almost like seeing somebody that I know is you know when somebody is built for this, and there's a lot of great talents in Ontario, but the
Mhm.
evolution of you hit different, and I think you're built for bigger and better things. Now, looking at all the promotions that we've talked about, creative control is a big thing for Macrae.
Mhm.
I know this.
Mhm.
Macrae wants to keep total control of the hot stepper and what he does. AEW is a good fit. I mean, who wouldn't want to be there? But also in
Mhm.
AEW, there's a chance of getting lost in the shuffle. You could end up
Mhm.
on Dark. You can end up on Elevation. You could just end up there and never get a
Mhm.
shot at Rampage or Dynamite. Then you go over to WWE, where unfortunately you won't be able to be the hot stepper. You won't be. You'll lose that
Mhm.
gimmick because they'll want to copyright it and you won't want to give them copyright. So you'll
Mhm.
become, the next Gunther instead of Walter.
Yeah.
It'll all happen.
Mhm.
It'll all happen. But then there's MLW. And MLW, I think, works for what you bring because it allows you to keep those bookings, but it gives you the opportunity to work in the States more. But then I
Mhm.
think, you know what? There's somewhere better. There's somewhere more impactful, if you will. You see what I did there?
Mm.
I think
Yeah.
I think the hot stepper would fit in perfectly in the X division at Impact Wrestling. I feel like you could add so many more. When I think of the matchups, dude, when I think of the matchups, you and
Mhm.
Trey Miguel, you and Speedball
Oh,
Mike Bailey,
oh,
Mike, and I know you
yeah,
mentioned to the mini host that Bailey's one of your matches. Like, think
yeah,
about that. And we're not even talking about an X division match for the title. We're talking about just you guys on a Thursday.
yeah.
That's a barn burner in itself. And then, of course, you've got Canada's own Josh Alexander right now, the top of the mountain over at Impact. I mean, wouldn't it be awesome for Macrae Martin to get a shot
It
at
would
that?
it would be very awesome. And it's funny that you bring that up because the last time I was on the show, you asked me where would you like to see yourself in terms of major companies? And I said Impact because of the way that the company has grown and the talent that they have. And it just seems like the place to be right now. And I can tell you that 2.5 years later, my answer hasn't changed. It's still Impact Wrestling. And to see Speedball at who was at one point was the X Division champion, he was at the top of that division, and he's still putting on great matches. And Josh Alexander being now the longest reigning Impact World Champion, it's just been amazing to see. Josh, who he was my third match ever, which I'll say it 100 times until I die. That still blows my mind that I got to share the ring with him that soon on. And that's a rematch that I've been waiting for. And yeah, like Impact is definitely a place where I could see the Hotstepper. I feel like I would be a good fit. I feel like the different matchups I could have would be insane. It'd be you. There's too many to count, and I hope that I get to earn that contract. I hope that with the work that I'm doing now, and I continue progressing, doing work in the States, doing work here, that one day I will get that pen and paper from Scott Demore, and I get to sign on the dotted line.
I absolutely hope for that too, man. And one match that I would love to see if that ever happens, kind of a dream match for myself, you and Joe Hendry.
Oh yes. Oh my god. I would love that. I am a huge hey Joe Hendry, I do actually that's another theme song going back to the mini hosts question. Like
Right?
that's
Joe
another theme
Hendry's
song
song
that I've
gets
loved.
you hyped, dude.
It's
Hyped.
so good. The vignettes alone were just hilarious. Like I think Joe Hendry's great. I got to meet him once back when he was doing the prestigious Joe Hendry. So he wasn't as approachable. He wasn't, as he didn't have the same can-do spirit. But now that he does, look where he is now. He's now signing Impact.
Mhm. Absolutely. I love it. And it's got a Joe Hendry. I'm just like, yes, I love it. I wish I could make it a karaoke song. It's the easiest karaoke song in the fucking world. Really is. Really is. All right, let's talk about the fun side. We talked about before I push record, Family Guy. We're both big Family Guy buffs.
Yes.
And Family Guy has so many great moments and in time. One of my favorite moments of all time is a moment that I could watch all the time. And I know a lot of people may be like, oh no, it might be cancel culture, but I don't care. I love this moment. It's
Okay.
when Peter talks about it's like, it's like when I was in the Manson family. And then he goes in and he's like, Charles Manson's there with everybody. He's like, hey guys, I just got invited to a party at Sharon Tate's house. Now you can come. Just don't embarrass me. I freaking die every time I see that. Because as we know, the eventual unfortunate events that happened, but it was still
Yes.
funny, dark humor, and you have to appreciate it. Okay, that's it. What is one of your favorite moments from all the seasons of Family Guy? Because let's be honest, the first 10 seasons were legendary. After
Yes.
that, it did dip and dive a little bit. There were
It always dips and dives. I think I know one of my favorite episodes is Road to the Multiverse. Is with Stewie and Brian, and it's just hilarious. Like the different situations that they get into, where Meg is hot now, and then also when it's a when it's a dog dominated world, and it's just like, no, I don't want to leave. This is where I'm meant to be, and it breaks my heart. It warms my heart. But trying to think of like a specific moment that like just stands out in my brain. When Peter falls down the stairs. I don't know why, but I just watched that clip when I see Peter, and like I just watched the compilation of Peter continuously falling down the stairs, and it makes me happy. It's just like this is so dumb, but it's great. Oh, actually, you know what? The first Star Wars episode, the
Mhm.
first Star Wars parody that they did with the couch, trying to get it out of the trash compactor. It's like because the thing with no matter what, everyone can relate to that.
It's
That's
true.
just like it's a super relatable moment that even if you don't watch Family Guy, even if you don't like Family Guy, you watch that scene and you're like, oh my god, I know exactly what they're going through.
I've been there. I've been there. I've been
I've
through
been
it
there.
all. What other like kind of animated stuff do you enjoy?
I actually funny you mention this. I just finished watching Batman the animated series. I
Amazing, right?
I yes. So because it's on Amazon Prime. It's like they have a Teletoon Plus, and I'm a huge Batman fan. Batman's my favorite superhero. I've watched all the animated movies. I watched Gotham. That was one of my favorite dramas because you get to see like pre-Batman era, but it's still got all the same villains. And I just watched that, and like Mark Hamill and Kevin Conroy are like, I think they're just the perfect duo. They're just amazing. And then also, I played all the Batman video games. Huge fan of those, and just it's like I could talk about Batman forever. Like it's insane. But because my current gear, like the color scheme I have is pink and lime green, and I did pick that because of the Joker.
Of course. Of course. Let's talk Batman for a little bit though, because I'm a big Batman aficionado. If you I'll turn the camera here, but there's some of my Batman collection.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, I'm very
It's
much
amazing.
Batman is Batman and Deadpool, Wolverine. Those are like my three go-tos. And I was a
Mhm.
Wolverine and Deadpool fan before all the movies and everything. Okay, I just want to lay that out to the world. I didn't just hop
lay
on
it
the
out.
bandwagon. Okay, I was there. I was
You were
there through
there.
it all.
You're an OG.
That's right. I am. I'm an OG. Put some respect on the name. That's right.
Respect on the name.
Well, let's talk Batman. What did you
All right.
think of? Let's talk the current Batman. What do you think of
Okay.
Robert Pattinson? What did you think of the first film?
I really liked the first film. I know it was very controversial. People talked about the length. I didn't mind the length. I didn't mind a 3-hour movie. I thought, first off, the way that they portrayed the Riddler, first of all, I think is the most true representation of the Riddler, where he's just essentially he equates to an incel living in his mom's basement, who's like, you know what, I'm sick of this, and then just starts going on in his way a murderous rampage, but it's really through riddles. In terms of Robert Pattinson being Batman, I will say at first I was like, what? Like, okay, he did the vampire thing. We don't need him to do the Batman thing. But actually, like, in terms of Bruce Wayne, I thought he was very brooding. And I think that's I always loved the brooding version of Bruce Wayne versus like the Playboy millionaire. Um and the combat I thought in the movie was done very well.
Mhm.
Is he my favorite Batman? No. He's
Mm.
not my favorite Batman. But I can't hate. I think he did a very good job of it.
Who is your favorite Batman?
I'm gonna
Actually,
get a
no,
lot
wait.
of
Don't answer that. Don't answer
okay.
that.
Okay.
Let's do Batman's 1 to 5. Ranking number 5 being the worst and number 1 being your favorite. I'll let you go first, and we'll see if our top 5 match.
Okay. Oh, okay. We're doing just live action. We're not including animated.
No, you could go animated as well. You give me your top.
Okay.
If you want to throw Kevin in there, that's totally fine. So if you want to throw him in
Okay.
there, I'm okay with that. I'm totally okay with that.
Okay. That's good to know. That'll help. Okay. Process of elimination in terms of the worst Batmans. I'm gonna have to go number 5 would then be George Clooney.
Okay.
I think George Clooney did a better version than Val Kilmer. Number 4. I'm gonna get hate for this. Michael Keaton. Now, I really like Michael Keaton's Batman,
Okay.
but I didn't grow up with Michael Keaton's Batman.
Okay.
I think that's the biggest difference. That's the biggest difference. Number 3 then would be Christian Bale.
Okay.
I thought Christian. Oh, you know what? I already forgot. Hold on. Go back. I forgot about Robert Pattinson. We just talked about Robert Pattinson. Take out Clooney. Put Robert in there. Robert's back in there.
We got
Robert. We got Keaton. Next is Bale. I'm putting Bale. I think I think in terms of the modern Batmans, he's the most iconic, just because of how well done the Dark Knight trilogy was done. Like Batman Begins, it's a great movie. Dark Knight, great movie. Dark Knight Rises, not as good, but still a good movie. Number 2 is Kevin Conroy. Just when you think of like when you read the comic books, you read it in Kevin Conroy's voice.
You do.
And like that's just
really
like to me, exactly. It's a great Batman. And number 1 for me, and again, I'm gonna get hate, and I will explain why. Ben Affleck. I think that Ben Affleck is the best Batman. Now, was he in the best movies? No. I don't think Ben Affleck was not in the best movies. But when you look at the animated series, the comic books, everything, who's there? It's Bruce Wayne. He's not a small guy. He's a super jack guy, right? And like I said, I like the brooding Batmans. I think he did such a good job of portraying that, like, he really just wants to be better. Like, he just really wants to just get over that pain and doing everything he can, and then also trying to stop Superman. I thought he did that, and also like when the fight scenes, he was brutal. It made me think of like when the animated movies, when the Dark Knight Returns, like a 50-year-old Batman just like pummeling guys. I thought Ben Affleck did a very good portrayal of that. Also, I just forgot another Batman, and I think it's probably because I didn't grow up with it. But gonna take out. I'm gonna take out Pattinson. All right, let's keep switching around. I'm taking out Pattinson because I gotta put him in Adam West. Adam West is my number 5.
Okay.
Number 4 is Keaton. Number 3 is Bale. 2 Conroy. 1 is Affleck. If Affleck was in like the Dark Knight movies, I think it would have been great.
Mm.
I think you put Ben Affleck in any of the Batman movies, he will be great. So those are my top 5 Batmans.
Okay. So I see where you went with it, and I don't disagree wholeheartedly, but I am going to make some changes. At number 5, I'm putting Ben Affleck. The only reason I'm putting Affleck is because, like you, I didn't grow up with Affleck. I grew up with a different Batman. So compared to the Batman I grew up with, Ben Affleck slides to the bottom. Now, number 4, I might get hate for this, but I'm putting Kevin in there. I'm putting Kevin Conroy in there at number 4. Again, I love him. I did grow up with that Batman, and that was the voice. That is the voice you read to, but it's not the Batman I hold near and dear to my heart. 3, I agree with you. I'll put Bale. 2, because I was introduced to Batman through this show, through my mom's love of the show. Adam West is 2, because Adam West is Batman. For me as a kid, that's the Batman that I grew up with. And then 1, Keaton, because to see him on the screen and just those 2 legendary words, who are you? I'm Batman.
Yeah.
Like, that's awesome. Just like, I mean, don't get me wrong, Ben Affleck, when you see that scene where you see Superman and the lightning flash and he's floating and Affleck's looking at him and all Affleck says is, "Do you bleed?" I'm like, yes, he bleeds.
So good.
Make him bleed. Make him freaking bleed.
Make him bleed.
Do it.
Yeah.
No, but I did.
Why did you say that name?
I did love it. You know what the funny thing was? Is all the memes that came out after. These 2 guys fighting, not realizing both their mom's names are Martha, and that's how they squash the fight. That's how they end it. Your mom's name is Martha? No way, mine is too. Get out of here. That's incredible.
We're chill.
Yeah, we're cool. Let's go fight this guy that looks kind of like Doomsday, but also looks like the Thing that could also be the Human Torch if they had a one-night stand. I'm not really sure what's happening here. Let's go do that. Let's go take care of that guy right now.
You know what? Okay, go back to Family Guy. You know when Family Guy, when Stewie like made a clone of himself, and he was just like, but he was slightly less intelligent and like looked a little dopier. I just thought that like if you cloned that Doomsday in that same way, it would be Solomon Grundy.
Yes.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't appreciate Solomon Grundy, man.
I think Solomon Grundy is great. I think I agree. He's a very underrated Batman villain. But like, you know, it's just I've always liked like the larger villains, like the larger in life. I mean, if we go to Marvel, as now look, I don't like how Fantastic Four portrayed him, but Galactus. I cannot wait for a movie where they have actual Galactus who can hold the Earth in the palm of his hand like that, and they actually portray, like, I mean, they did it with Eternals with the Celestials. I thought that was cool. I've always loved like those type of villains.
Right.
So Solomon Grundy also is near and dear to my heart.
Yeah, I'll give you that. When it comes to Batman villains for me, though, I have to say, and this I might get a lot of flack for this, man. I'm a big fan of Calendar Man. Calendar Man is fire.
It's so like you just look at the list of Batman villains, it's ridiculous. I mean, Calendar Man's a good one. Clock King's another weird one. Baby Doll is one.
Baby Doll, the Mad Hatter.
Mad Hat. Okay, I also love Mad Hatter. I don't like. I understand how they portray him, and I guess that's like the more truer representation of Mad Hatter in like Batman the Animated Series and in the video games. But the way they portrayed Jervis Tetch in Gotham, where like it was like a legit, like very handsome man, first off, and then just like a sadistic killer, where he's like he hypnotizes his I remember in the first episode, he brainwashes the husband, has him kill his wife and then has him kill himself. That's sadistic. I'm like, yo, this guy is a legit threat.
Right, that's right. That absolutely is right. What did you think? What do you think about? I can't remember his name right now, but the puppet, Scarface. Is Scarface?
Oh yeah, Scarface. so I, here's the go. I'm gonna relate this to wrestling.
Okay.
So the best comedy in wrestling is the comedy that's taken the most seriously, right? You look at, for I think the most recent example I would say is Luigi Primo with the pizza dough, right? The reason it works is because everybody took it so seriously. They're like this guy's flipping dough. They're like, what? Like, it's like, what the heck? And they get super angry about it. So with Scarface, you know, his henchmen, they're like, oh no, I'm not messing with Scarface. And then the guy's like, it's just a puppet. It's like, no. The dummy is the human. I can't remember the human's name, but Scarface is the legit deal. So like I really like Scarface. I think it's so dumb, but like once you get behind it, it's a cool concept.
It absolutely is. And these are some of the villains that I would like. Like, I mean, when you think of the next Batman, they're already throwing out that it could be Mr. Freeze. They're also saying that it could be somebody different. I mean, we've seen all these larger than life characters. I want to see a villain that I haven't seen. I mean, yes, we know that ultimately the Joker will be involved in this new Batman verse that we're getting, but I could go with somebody a little different. Like maybe Mr. Freeze does need a do-over because let's be honest, Arnold Schwarzenegger, not the coolest Mr. Freeze that they could have done. So maybe Mr. Freeze does get a do-over, but at the same time, I'm thinking, man, I wouldn't mind seeing somebody different. And it was always, for me, it was always, I want to see Ra's al Ghul. And then now they've done that in the Dark Knight trilogy. So I can't see that anymore. Like that doesn't work for me now. So I don't know. I'm thinking like, maybe Calendar Man and Solomon Grundy team up and then you just fuck him up. That'd be amazing.
I want to see maybe not a primary villain, but I would like to see Deathstroke. Deathstroke is my favorite, is one of my favorite DC villains just in general. And I think he would be like a good, like that'd be a solid fight scene. Like if that's like the penultimate fight scene for it's kind of like James Bond Inspector with Dave Bautista, right? Dave Bautista was the henchman, but that was the biggest fight of the movie was with him, and then it was more psychological with Christopher Walken's character. But I think something like that, where it's like the main villain is more psychological, like a Calendar Man, like a Mad Hatter, or that type of thing. But like the second to last fight is like it's just an intense martial arts combat, and I think you could get that with Deathstroke. Now that we're just talking about this, I want them to make the next Batman movie kind of like how they make a video game where there's levels, where there's multiple bosses, because I think that's how you could optimize the Batman universe, right? Where it's like they kind of do that already. Like, you know, you had Falcone in the most recent Batman movie, you had the Riddler, you had Penguin, but like they all just kind of felt like cameos. It was still all centered around Riddler. I would like to see more like chapters, I guess, throughout. Maybe that's just the hypothetical dream world that I'm living in as a huge Batman mark who's played the video games more times than he can count.
Listen, I have a PS4. I have all three on the PS4. I have a PS5. I rebought them on the PS5. I have them all on my Xbox 360. They're down here somewhere. I play them all. I have so many different systems that I still play them on.
Exactly.
And they age so fucking.
Oh yeah,
they age so well.
Now you're saying 3. What's your thought on Origins?
Oh man, I don't know. Am I going to get heat for this? Am I going to get heat for it?
You're not. Okay, I feel like majority of the population, I think, don't like Origins. I think it's one of those things where at the time when Origins came out, it was not a good game because I think people don't like change, right? It was a prequel. It was done by Warner Brothers Montreal. It wasn't done by Rocksteady. And so it already had it didn't have Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill. So I think it already just like people were thrown off by it because it changed. But if you go back and play it now, you just go into it like, okay, I'm going to look at this as just a single objective Batman game. It's amazing. It's really good. Now, there's also, I mean, I guess Gotham Knights doesn't count as part of the Arkham series but I haven't played it.
I am in the middle of it, and it's a fun game. It is a lot of fun, actually. It is a fun game.
It didn't come out for PS4, and I don't have a PS5 yet. I'm saving up for a PS5,
Right.
but like I haven't watched any YouTube videos. I haven't watched any spoilers because I want to be like fully surprised of what happens in Gotham Knights. But yeah. Anyway, I'm telling you, you should go back and play Origins. Just give it a shot again. And you know, if I'm wrong, I will accept defeat. But no, because I was the same. I was like, this game, it felt like a letdown from Arkham City, and it is a bit of a letdown from Arkham City, but in itself, it's not a bad game.
All right. See, because I was going to say Arkham City is like top tier. Arkham City is the game of all games for me when it comes to any of the Batman series. Like, I loved Asylum. Asylum was great. I got almost all the Riddler trophies. I think I got like close to 60, which was hard to do. I couldn't get them all, but I got most of them. I got pretty much all the bonus stuff that you could get. Like, I played that game through and through and through. And then Arkham City came out, and I'm like, this is everything. And then Origins came out. I was so stoked about Origins, and I bought it. I picked it up. And I sat down to play it. It was a Friday night. The wife and the kids were gone. I was going to be up till 2 a.m. I had the whole thing planned out. Then I heard Batman's voice for the first time. I'm like, I don't know what's happening here, but I don't like any of this. This is horrible. I actually had to mute the game and put on the subtitles because I was like, I don't like this dude's fucking voice at all. It's wrong. It's wrong. It's not. It's inhuman. This is like if Batman was a lesser version of Batman in a multiverse. This is not the Batman that I knew. I don't know who this guy is, but this guy's not Batman.
I think I think technically you just said what he was, because it's a younger Batman. It's an angrier Batman. It's a younger, more impulsive, and more rash or less rash Batman. And as opposed to when you get to Asylum City and Night, it's a Batman that's older, it's wiser. So if you switch that lens, I agree. Like the voice. It's not the best Batman voice.
No, it's horrible.
But you know, I think who did voice it? It's not Nolan North.
No,
I'm trying to remember who voiced it. It was
solve
Nolan North. It would have been great.
We're gonna solve this right now.
I love how much time we've spent on Batman. This is amazing.
Batman Origins. All right, here we go. All right. Oh my god, if I could spell, it'd be awesome. All right. So Batman Arkham Origins, Roger Craig Smith. And Troy Baker was the Joker.
Troy Baker's Joker I do like. I think he does have he has like a modern day Hamill. Like that's like he feels like a modern day Hamill in terms of, because he really tried to emulate Hamill as best he could without sounding too much like Hamill. Kind of like what Hamill was like. He wants people to feel like wanted to feel like Nicholson, but not be Nicholson. Yeah. So that's kind of what I got. But yeah, Roger Craig Smith. Right? Hey, Roger, if you're watching this, we didn't like your voice as Batman.
We hated it, buddy.
Yeah.
But you know what? You're right. And even when I read it, it's like the reason they selected him was for him to be a younger, more angrier, more unrefined Batman. So going back into that, I get it now. But at the time, because I know it was a prequel and I know it was sold as a prequel, this is a prequel to everything we saw. I get that. But to me, it was like, this is the third installment. I get it was supposed to be the first installment, but it was the third installment.
It was marketed as like a third installment too, right? And that's the thing. That's like I feel like the Arkham games go like Asylum, City, Origins, Night. To me, Night's my favorite.
Yeah.
I think Arkham City story is better, but Arkham Knight overall, I think is the better game.
I would give you that as well. I think my favorite is Arkham Knight as well, but for the simple fact that I enjoyed the gameplay. I found with Asylum and even with City, it got repetitive. Even though you could switch up the combos, you could do more cooler stuff. You could go back and like unlock different weapons, and it would change some of the combos. It still felt pretty repetitive. But Night, to be cliche, Night hit different. It
did hit different. I think part of it is like it was the first proper next gen game without it being remastered.
Yep.
I think that helped. I mean, dude, Scarecrow in that game looked amazing.
Fire.
Like I love they just like completely like he's destroyed. Like he looked gross. He looked gross, but like also like it was awesome that he looked so gross.
We have
I don't
spent
know.
a lot on Batman. We have spent about a
Yeah.
good 20 minutes on Batman. So let me ask one more question. I'm going to wrap you up, let you enjoy your evening. But when
Yeah,
you
let's
look
do
at
it.
the legacy of Macrae Martin and you look
Mhm.
at what you were to where you are now, and evolution has been the factor of a majority of our conversation, unless we went off on that huge Batman Mark tangent, which was incredible, by the way. But when you look at the evolutionary standpoint of Macrae Martin from where you were to where you are to where you want to be, what is the next logical step you need to take in order to get to that next level you want for the Hotstepper character?
Ooh,
Tough
I
question,
like
right?
this. I like this question.
It hits
And
different.
it is different. Hey, it is different. I think too is because for me, I've had the Hotstepper character since September of 2018.
Mhm.
So to me, it has felt like a long time. But for a lot of people, it's new, it's different, and so to them, it's new and exciting. And for me, it's not boring. Believe me, it's not at all. It's not at all boring. But I sometimes find it hard to know, is it sour for other people if it gets sour for me? You know, where it's kind of like I know. I feel like a lot of wrestlers feel this way. It's like when they've been doing the same thing for a long time. Like Chris Jericho is, I think, is a good example of that, where he constantly switches it up. But like, how long could he drag that character? I mean, I'm going on a long rant, but essentially, I don't know how long the Hotstepper character is gonna last. I'm gonna take it though and keep evolving it because I do enjoy implementing the dance aspect of my wrestling to the dance aspect of my life to wrestling. I think it's done wonders for me and it's a lot of fun to do and it gives me such great crowd interaction. Where I want to be with it is just be worldwide, right? I'm going to Europe in a few days. So by the time this comes out, I'll be back from Europe. Hopefully it went well. Uh,
I know it did.
um,
I know it did.
yeah, I know it did. But from now till then, like I just want to keep growing, keep getting exposure, keep growing as a performer and continuing that reach to that. Hopefully my dream would be to take the Hotstepper character or a variant of to Impact, to NXT, to WWE, to AEW. I would like to keep bringing it up. But you know, I'm not afraid of change. If it comes down to lines like, you know what, I want to change things up, or if someone says, hey, we want you to change things up, I welcome that challenge. And because at the end of the day, I am a performer and I want to put on the best performance I can. And you know, I feel like you throw me anything, I could do it. I think that's the quote. Throw me anything and I can do it. Hits different.
I like it. I actually love it. I think that's the best answer that I've ever had to that question in terms of the evolution. And I think you answered it with such poise, you know, a maturity beyond your years. And that's the fact. And that's one of the reasons that I love you and I consider you a family member for sure. You're part of the Straight Talk family. You know this. You can come back
Get it,
you can come back anytime.
Mom.
Mom,
I'm part of a new family.
I reached
Get
the
out
top.
of here.
I reached the top, Ma. No,
Since-
but dude, I got nothing but love and respect for you. You keep surprising me and you keep entertaining me. And that's the whole thing about this. Doesn't matter how many conversations I've had, it's conversations like this that I remember. And I remember our first one so fondly that this one, it hits different, but it feels the same at the same time. And I think that's a great way to end this. Before I let you go, shout out your socials so everyone can keep up on the journey that is the Hotstepper.
All right, ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls, and everything in between. You can follow me on the Instagram, on the Twitters, on the Facebook at the Hotstepper PW. It used to be the Hotstepper MM. I'm going to say this because this is a funny story I've never mentioned on the podcast, but it used to be the Hotstepper MM, you know, because Macrae Martin. Until a lot of my friends who are outside of wrestling said, why is your Instagram the hot sperm? Because it looked like sperm. So that is why it's now the Hotstepper PW. So go follow your boy on all the socials at the Hotstepper PW, not the hot sperm. Buy my shirts at shows. When I start an online store, buy my shirts there. I'm getting bucket hats made. Buy the bucket hats. Join the revolution of bucket hats becoming famous.
It's amazing. We went. I asked to shout out socials, and we got this whole other tangent. I freaking love it. I love there's been so many random tangents in this
It's
conversation.
been great.
It's amazing. It's
It's
amazing.
been so much fun.
It absolutely has. Guys, you know my links. The socials are below. Shout out to my guest, the Hotstepper Macrae Martin, coming back on Straight Talk. It's amazing. You know we're gonna do it again. There's gonna be a part 3.
Gotta be part 3.
Absolutely. Stick around. Peace, love, and wrestling. We'll see you guys next week. Peace.
Boom.
Thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to tune in next week for another great episode on all available podcast platforms and hosted on Podbean. Also, check us out on YouTube at Straight Talk Wrestling, on Instagram at Straight Talk Wrestling, on Facebook at Straight Talk Wrestling, and on Twitter at _Straight Talk. And if you feel the need to buy some sweet merch, check us out on ProWrestlingTees.com.
Leaving the scene with no trace, not in my league. You out of place. I'm not at the top, I'm outer space. Can't eat with us, we're out of place. I'm doing fine,